In this video, we will show you how to mount the N-Drive by yourself. We always recommend installation by a technical specialist, but in most cases it's a simple process, and you will need only screwdrivers. How to mount the emulator. The N-Drive has the same size and connections as your floppy drive. Our task is to disassemble and replace the floppy drive with the emulator. First, make sure your equipment is unplugged from the power socket. No matter what type the equipment is, we first have to locate the floppy drive and start from there. In the previous video, about the floppy disks and floppy drives, we showed you how to make a difference between the types of the floppy drives. In some equipment, the floppy drive is located exactly on it. And on others the floppy drive is on an external control unit. In most cases, only the bottom cover needs to be disassembled. Here we disassembled the bottom cover. This is the floppy drive. The floppy drive is attached with 4 screws. In order to disassemble it, we need to have access to them. In the previous video about the floppy disks and floppy drives, we showed you the attachment of the different types of floppy drives and what connectors they have. In this case, we need to remove this board because it prevents us from removing the floppy. I will give you advice: grab a cup to store the screws you removed. That way you won't lose them. If you need to unplug connectors to get to the floppy, mark them so you don't confuse them, or take pictures with your phone. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions. The emulator will be mounted on the same place and the same way as the floppy drive. Use the screws in the mounting kit that came with the emulator to attach the N-Drive. You can't mount the N-Drive with the floppy bolts. In order to do this, please use the screws included in the mounting kit with a similar length. Before disconnecting the connectors from the floppy, take a picture of them with your phone. That way you will know their positions. In most cases, it is best for the connecting cables to be plugged in before the emulator is attached. Look at the picture you took and plug the power cable and data cable into the emulator, the same way as they were to the floppy drive before. Here are the most common mounting mistakes. Make sure the data cable fits tight and is not shifted. In the troubleshooting video, we showed you the most common connection mistakes. Now we will attach the main board and we will connect the connectors, but we will not assemble the equipment yet. We need to make sure that all connectors are connected and there are no detached parts. Now we can do a test. Then we will power on the equipment and make sure it works properly. After inserting the flash drive, the N-Drive screen should display the number of the virtual disk. For most equipment, we put information in the first virtual disk that can be read. That way, we can test whether the equipment reads or writes information. Once we make sure that the emulator works, we can assemble the equipment completely. In the troubleshooting video, you can check the most common N-Drive connection mistakes. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell for more updates.